You're listening to Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and John.
So warm up that old cup of joe and join in on the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and John. That was my radio voice, John.
Yeah, I can dig it, man. I can dig it. I can see you being on the radio one day. I will say, don't give up your day job.
Don't give up my day job. Could you imagine?
Well, your night job, I should say.
Yeah,
for
my
us.
night job.
Don't give up your night job.
Could you imagine having to talk like that all the time?
No.
Like you got to go into radio voice job.
Like radio DJ guy all the time? Absolutely
radio
not.
DJ guy all
no way,
the time.
dude. No way. No way.
It's like, hold on a minute. Let me do this right now.
I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't enjoy it one bit, personally. I couldn't pretend like that all the time. You see me like I'm a dude like what do they call that? Wear my emotions on my sleeve. Like you can generally tell what's up with me real quick.
Right.
Where I'm at, you know? So yeah, I just couldn't imagine having to be fake all the time like that. Like with a fake voice and all that stuff.
You remember 99X? I mean, come on. 99X. We all listened to 99X back in the day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you ask if I remember 99X and I'm thinking of, yeah.
Do you miss 99X?
Of course. Who doesn't, right?
That was
one of the best. Were some good times, right?
Yeah. So you remember when they had the morning show, kind of like the last conception of the morning show, when it was Fred Toucher, was it Crash? Crash was on there, and who was the girl?
I kept wanting to say it's the wrong name. Whatever was coming to me is the wrong name. But go on with this.
Leslie? It wasn't Leslie, was it?
That's what I was thinking was Leslie, but I feel like that's wrong. Or I was thinking Lindsay, but I knew.
No, Lindsay's on. Lindsay was on like The Project and 961 and all that stuff.
Yeah, because we're going back a little while now talking about all that.
Yeah, we're talking about when Atlanta radio was awesome.
Yeah, so it's hard to remember exactly, but go on. Yeah.
Anyway, she was talking about she was at one of her early radio stations, and they wanted her to be the stoner chick.
Okay.
So
Is that her though?
That's not her. So, but she always had to talk in a stoner chick voice.
Oh golly, I would hate that.
And she was like, it sucked because I wasn't stoned.
Sounds miserable.
Yeah.
To have to act. Oh,
I don't know where that how that even. That's
I don't know why you'd want to do that to somebody.
That's an odd memory to remember, Ant.
It is kind of an odd memory for you to have. But there was some good radio back in the day in Atlanta, man.
Dude.
The local one for me in Peachtree City, 96.7 The Buzz, right? We talk about that stuff at work a lot.
Yeah, we talk about The Buzz a lot.
Yeah.
Then you remember Axel was on in the afternoons.
Yes.
I heard that story. That was like the best years that I enjoyed 99X because they were playing some of that newer alternative, like, but they were still throwing in all the Nirvana and all the other stuff, and then you got like Panic at the Disco in there, and
yeah, they did a good mix up.
Yeah, and you had Tool. They were playing some Tool.
Yeah.
So when Vicarious come out, this girl calls in the Axel show and it's like, "What's all these bands doing going gay?" And Axel's like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, Tool's got this new song called "By Curious."
Oh my gosh! No, she didn't. No, she didn't.
I was like,
oh my gosh!
Hilarious. If that's not Atlanta radio wrapped up into one, like Georgia wrapped up into one conversation.
Sure. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. I'm wearing an Atlanta shirt right now.
Oh,
Atlanta Hawks shirt. Yeah,
you are.
Atlanta Hawks today. Yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah,
but that's
we're talking all this stuff about Atlanta, man. Wow, but those were some good times in Atlanta radio, man. You could. Clark Howard, dude. My dad listened to Clark Howard all the time. He's still on, right?
Yeah, he's still on. I think we all
Yeah.
learned more from Clark Howard than we did that other guy, Dave Ramsey. Because
Yeah, I
Dave
did.
Ramsey is
Back
so
in the day.
cultish with the way you have to act with his stuff, and Clark Howard.
But he's got a lot of good points.
He's got a lot of good
I give it
points.
to Dave Ramsey. He's got some good points, man. He's
But
got some good ideas.
I think
But I do hear what you're saying.
Clark's more practical.
For sure. For sure. I like listening to Clark Howard. He had a way of interacting with the people, like his callers and stuff, that I
Yeah.
really enjoyed as a kid.
Yeah.
I remember that part of it. I remember it seemed like he just really genuinely wanted to help people.
Well, see, that was my day back when, let's see, early 2000s. So start out the day with 99X.
Right.
And most days would flip, after that morning show was over, would flip over to Bortz.
Yeah.
And then that would lead into Clark Howard would be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then you had Pharrell was on there for a while, and that dude, he's Steve Pharrell. He's
what station was that?
it was when 105.3 tried to go talk for a little while, and he was on there,
I don't
and
remember that.
it was more podcast type than talk radio.
Yeah.
Like it didn't get political. Really, it was more like a morning drive guy trying to do a full talk show. But it was freaking hilarious. He talked like this. He talked like,
Yeah, I remember that. I remember his personality, like
one
his
of our
radio
drivers.
personality. Yeah.
But that was his radio voice.
One of my he lives by me, man.
Yeah,
he lives by me. Me and him live near each other. Love that guy.
He's got that same gravelly voice,
Yeah,
it just made for such a difference in Atlanta talk radio, because you're used to hearing the well-spoken Neil Bortzes and the Clark Howards, and this guy gets on there and he's like, "Shake it, oh!"
Yeah.
He did a whole.
There's a guy on National Sports Talk Radio, on National CBS Sports Talk at night, and I can't remember his name, but he's got that same type of voice, and it's really interesting.
It might be him, because he's doing some sport radio now.
Is he really? It might be him. I've heard him late at night sometimes, like if I take my lunch break later or something like that, I'll hear him. And I think he's on the weekends a lot too. But anyway, I've heard him. It might be him.
I've been trying to find him, keep up with him, because I was hoping he'd come out with a podcast when everybody else was coming out with podcasts. I'm like, I would listen to this podcast.
Yeah. So 92.9 The Game, the local Atlanta sports station right now, they don't really have like nighttime shows like after 11.
Right.
So they just put it on the national station, and they're a CBS affiliate. So we get, the national CBS broadcast.
Whatever's going on.
Yeah. And so it's like JR, who actually, he is out of Atlanta. So he's broadcasting out of Atlanta for national CBS. And then it leads into some other people. But yeah, sometimes I hear that guy on there. It might be him. I'm going to listen for it again next time.
Yeah, it might be
I
him.
never connected it to.
He did a whole, you remember, man, this is going back. You remember when we had the jumpers on the bridge in Atlanta?
Yeah.
So he got caught in that traffic going to the radio station to do his shift.
Really?
And ended up calling in to his producer and doing it all from his car.
Wow.
The whole freaking show on the telephone.
Wow. That's pretty cool that he's able to pull it off like that.
Yeah, they didn't like the big wigs at the radio station didn't like it, but
I'm sure, but
it made for memorable radio. I mean,
he got it done, right?
I'm sitting here almost 20 years later talking about it.
Yeah, what an experience, man.
So
what an experience.
He's like, I can't believe the number of people in Atlanta that ride around with cold beer in their car.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true. I mean, I know a few.
Yeah, I do too.
Not me. Praise God. Praise God. Not me.
You can't do the night shift work and sneak a beer in.
No. See, I don't drink at all.
Right.
Praise God, baby. Been a long time since I've had a drink. But yeah, no, I can't even imagine trying to do that, trying to pull that off. Not me.
No, it don't work. It wouldn't work for me either. But
Definitely not the way I drank either.
let's just
But anyway,
say
what's been going on with you this weekend, man? Did you guys race last
we
night?
got rained out.
Dang it. Again, these Georgia showers,
Dude, we're sitting there watching the weather and I keep seeing that thunderstorm that was kind of like over towards where you used to live.
Yeah. Meriwether.
Yeah, Meriwether County. And I'm like, oh man, we're good. It's going away. It's going away. And then it starts sprinkling. It's like, what the heck? And this arm, you look at the radar and this arm just comes out and comes over the racetrack.
Man, that sucks.
So, Nat, hold on a minute. My dog. So I got my laptop on the back of the love seat because it's the perfect height to get the deer in the back. Well, my dog has jumped up on the back of the love seat and she's trying to get me to pet her. So I've got to stop and pet her for a minute.
Okay. Yeah. Make sure that dog gets love.
Yeah. Man. Natty,
I miss my dogs, dude. I miss a couple of my dogs. I think about some of the dogs I've lost. I've got one I just put down last year. Brutal. That was rough, dude. And I've got two that are like really old. So like I hate thinking about that stuff. But that's what I think about. For some reason, I think about like, these memorable moments with some of the dogs that I don't have anymore.
Even when you have a good dog, you miss it.
Yeah.
She don't know who I'm talking to right now. She just thinks I'm talking to her. So she's up here like, "Hey, what you doing?" So if the camera, if you see the screen get shaky, it's just Natty.
It's just Natty. Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Anyway, sorry about that. So it rained. That arm come out. And it's like, where did this arm come? Quit bark. You can't bark while we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, definitely can't do that.
You can't bark while we're doing a podcast. Get down. Get down.
Tell somebody get that pup a treat, man. Come on,
ain't nobody else here. I don't know what she's barking at. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let her out, and John's just going to talk to her for a minute.
Yeah. So Chuck got rained out last night at the race, and we're going to go ahead and move on. I am going to try bone marrow today. I've been really excited to share that with Chuck. I didn't know about it until like last night, this morning. I don't know, something. My weekends become a blur because we kind of swap schedules, or I do anyway. He doesn't. But I get to try bone marrow today. I'm really excited about that.
What?
Wait, yeah. There you are. You're back. All right. Praise God. Get to try bone marrow today, bro.
Who's bone?
I don't know. I guess it's beef. I assume. Maybe I'm just assuming. But yeah, chef's gonna bring me some bone marrow today. He's gonna cook it up when he gets home. I'm really excited. Can't wait. Yeah, I've been really excited to talk to you about that. Have you ever tried that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Now that you're aware of. Okay.
I'm not saying I wouldn't. I imagine it's probably got a real beefy taste.
I would imagine
if it is beef. In fact, beef.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to do a review on it next week on the show. Or
I will.
Maybe that should be your half calf.
It can be. That's fine. We'll do the half calf on
eating bone marrow.
Yeah, bone marrow. I'm excited. I don't remember. He told me this morning. He was like, "Man, I got a treat for you today. I'm going to cook up some bone marrow when I get home." And I was like, "No way, man!" I was super excited. So, looking forward to that.
You had
the sunfish.
The sunfish, yeah.
Whoo, man, yeah, native to Hawaii. I don't remember the exact name of it, but one of the name for it is, I think, a sunfish.
Yeah,
was the name of it, and it was just something else, dude.
I was telling something else about that this weekend, and she's like, "How is that even legal?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "I don't know, but it was expensive."
I tell you what, I had this stuff. They gave me this stuff last night. They let me try this stuff that they got from a local farmer's market. And I can't remember the name of it right now. Golly, I wish I could. But it's like a Middle Eastern type of dish. They said the guy who was selling it was Syrian, but it's a Middle Eastern type of dish, and it was like a pastry, very sweet. It was unbelievable, and I'm really mad that I can't remember the name of it right now. But golly, I might have to phone a friend real quick, dude. I might have to. I'm gonna text because they're my brother's on my favorites, so his text will come through. So let me send him a text real quick because I gotta figure it out. I gotta remember. It was amazing. It was life changing, and I really wanted to share that with you today as well. What I had last night. Now
You
I
had
can't remember the name.
life-changing food last night?
Yeah, and I can't remember the name. Isn't that bad?
Yeah, it must not change your life too much.
I mean, it was just so preposterously good, dude.
There you go, using those big words. That's rule number 5 on the show. We don't use big words.
Come on now, come on. What's this picture you sent me?
Oh, that was what I did yesterday.
Oh
Before we
my
went racing.
goodness gracious!
I killed some ants.
I see that. Oh wow, how about you? How about you? Killing them ants.
They went nuts, dude. So they were in a
I have
track.
to text my wife too. She'll remember because she's had it before. This was my first time ever having it.
So yeah, you'll find out. So those ants were all up in the dog food on the
Yeah.
porch.
Yeah.
So I went and got those. You ever use those ant traps?
Not
that?
those specific ones that you were using. No.
Well, those are the best ones. And I say that because this old guy told me that. And his name was Chief. His nickname was Chief. So if an old guy named Chief tells you that those are the best ant traps,
Yeah.
those are the best ant traps. You don't even try the other ones.
Yeah. Some old dude named Chief.
Yeah.
Where do you know this guy from?
He was, well, he's had many jobs in Griffin. The one I remember him most for is running one of the local parts stores.
Okay.
But
yeah, some old dude who runs a parts store for sure. I take his words.
Yes, he had a parts store. I don't know if he managed the movie theater for a while or just worked or owned it or what. But everybody that would come into our shop and they would see, like Chief would come by and get his car worked on. Everybody after Chief would leave, he's like, he kicked me out of the movie theater. 1970, whatever. He's kicked everybody, every boomer, and I'm not saying it in a boomer in a
right.
Every baby boomer in Griffin, I believe, has been kicked out of a movie theater by Chief.
Jeez, he's just that guy.
He's just evidently they were some bad kids in Griffin. But you know what I mean? But it was it's like everybody's got it. He worked he had 2 different movie theaters at some point. One was in the Mill Village, which you've been past it a couple times going to Griffin over to work, and you don't even know it was a movie theater.
Really?
It was over there by the Easy Shop. It was called the Rex.
Oh.
And anyway, he had that one, and that's where all the Mill Village folks went.
Mm-hmm.
That was the closest one to them. And then he had Parkwood, which is, I think it's a church now. It's across, the Wendy's when you come into town on 16, and there's that like big brown building across the street from it.
Yep.
That used to be Parkwood Cinema. That is, or as we called it in high school, Prepwood, because,
how about that?
Or middle school. It might have been middle school, because there was 2 movie theaters in Griffin, and that's where the preppier people went. Was
nice.
I went to both of them because I could commingle.
Right.
I had that ability.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Man, what were we talking about? Oh, we was talking about Chief.
Baklava, by the way. Oh, you were talking about Chief. I got the response.
Baklava?
Yeah, I wanted to get that out there. I know that was I just blurted that out, but I got the response. Baklava. Yes. That's what that bread was called. It's amazing. There's this guy at the farmer's market. It was baklava, and he had some other things, but it was completely life-changing. I highly recommend it. Saturday morning farmer's market. Definitely got to. Yeah, Peachtree City. Got to try it out. Got to try it out. It's amazing.
Get over there and try that.
Phenomenal.
I know,
unbelievable.
Mr. Rick used to set up over there selling tomatoes and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about, Chief gave you the idea for the ant traps.
Yeah. So Chief
totally take his idea. And it worked.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. You see the picture?
I mean, I see the picture. There's ants everywhere, dude.
Now, I did break one of Chief's rules.
What did you break?
He said you can only buy it at Ace. You can buy it at Home Depot. You can buy it anywhere. But it only works if you buy it from Ace.
I see. It's a difference. If you get that true value.
Yeah. But I got this at Home Depot, and it seemed to be.
I mean, it's working great. It seems to be. But hey, man, so this week
Yeah, this
I
week.
want to talk about Bikini Atoll.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Marshall Islands, all the crazy nuclear testing we were doing out there, the U.S. government was doing out there back in the 40s and 50s, because it's crazy and wild. And I've been watching a bunch of explosions on YouTube and stuff like that lately, and learning about all of that nuclear testing and how wild that is. You know, they set off 67 nuclear bombs at that place.
67?
67 total. Isn't that
Holy
unbelievable?
cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So anybody who doesn't know, back when we started developing nuclear weapons and such, we had to have somewhere to test them, make sure they worked, and see how effective they were. And the U.S. came across this really remote set of islands out in the Pacific Ocean, which is now known as the Republic of the Marshall Islands.
Yeah.
They are their own territory or something. I can't remember exactly.
It's
But
freaking beautiful down
they're
there.
their own republic. Oh my gosh, dude. I was looking at some of the pictures on the internet. It is a paradise. It's a paradise. It's unbelievable. It really, really is. It's so beautiful. It's just astonishing. But anyway, yeah, so the U.S. found these islands out in the middle of nowhere, a perfect place they thought to test these things. So that's what they started doing. They kind of took over. They kind of told the locals, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. And if you want to hang out, cool. If you don't, you might want to go. And that's what we did, man, as the U.S. government. That's what the U.S. government did.
I'm going to assume that these people were somewhat primitive.
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, related to like Hawaii.
Yeah.
And like what happened up there, which I've learned a lot more about that since I've got a niece living in Hawaii now. Shout out, Erin. Hey, how you doing? Love you, mean it. Hope you're doing good out there in Hawaii. I started learning a little bit about Hawaii. So related a little bit to Hawaii, if you can imagine that.
Right.
How we just kind of went in there and we're like, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Well, we did that a lot.
Yeah. We had that
we have a reputation of doing that.
Yeah.
Country.
Yeah. But anyway, so we started this nuclear testing out there, and we tested a total of 67 nuclear weapons, ranging all the way up to like hydrogen weapons and stuff like that. So yeah, we did a ton of testing out there. You and I listened to a podcast about it the other night, and remember on that podcast, they said, the amount of testing we did out there is equal to 1.7 Hiroshima blasts every single day for 12 years.
That's a lot of radiation.
That's a ton of radiation. So
we haven't really cleaned much of it up either, have we?
No, we left them with a ton of disastrous wreckage. So what we would do is we would put ships out there, right, around where we would set off the blast, and we would load them up with farm animals and stuff like that, and see how effective the weapons were. We had to have some way to tell. And it's really sad or sick or whatever you want to say to think about, but that's what we did. And so we would set these Navy ships up and set off these nuclear weapons and so on and so forth. You know, things progress from the atomic bomb all the way up. So, yeah, that's what we did. And we left them with all that, not all of the wreckage, right? Our soldiers would clean it up like while we were there, but we're no longer occupying that area. Yeah. Like we're not doing anything.
And my granddad was involved in that cleanup a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted you to bring that up. To bring that up.
I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember. I texted Dad a while ago, and he ain't got back with me, but I can't remember if it was before Dad was born or after Dad was born, because it would have been, because the difference that makes, that was 55, so it would have been while they were actively testing, or if it was after, it would have been when they were doing the massive cleanup.
So hang on 1 second.
Okay.
I've got it. I was just 1946 and 1958 is when we were testing the weapons.
Okay, so Dad was born in 55, so if he was there during a test, it would have been probably 53 or 54.
Wow.
So it would have been like he was in Korea. Korea was over, then he went there, and then Dad was born in Atlanta. So
right. So yeah, they would also station the soldiers certain, distances away from the blast.
Right.
And everybody would observe it. They'd watch it go off. They'd have cameras everywhere. One of the worst things that we left there, though, let me just go ahead and get this out of the way. I don't want to skip over this. Like, we did do a lot of wrong, but like, the testing is just crazy and fascinating to me. But we left a ton of nuclear waste there in this humongous concrete dome structure.
Yes,
that is apparently leaking now.
Nice.
And we're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Which is similar to our approach, by the way. Let us bring this back a little local. That nuclear bomb off the coast of Tybee Island, dude.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. It's cool. Now, it doesn't have uranium, I think. It's missing a really key component, right? Like, the bomb, I don't think can go off. Yeah, I don't think it's armed, right? I think that's a good way to put it. But there is, like, a nuclear weapon chilling off the coast of Tybee Island that fell off like a test flight one time. And they're just like, yeah, whatever, it's good by now.
Wouldn't you say that too? Like, if you dropped a nuclear bomb, oh, don't worry about it. We didn't turn it on.
Yeah, I probably would. You're right. I would say that if I was the U.S. government and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's good.
Meanwhile, if you watch one of these underwater explosions from, like, Bikini Atoll or one of the Marshall Islands, like, it is destructive, even if it's underwater, dude. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It is pretty wild.
Like, to watch some of those other explosions, though, like, the later they go, man, and see how our cameras can't even capture, like, the atrocity of it.
Right.
Like, it's hard to explain, but, like, the intensity. Our cameras can't even capture how intense the picture is. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Now, is that the only one we test? I know we were in Hawaii, we were in the Philippines, and we were in Marshall Islands.
As far as I know, the Marshall Islands were, like, the place to test for us. Now, Russia has done way more like, above ground testing and stuff like that. They've done way more testing than us because they've got a lot of remote area in Russia, dude. So I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying they have a little more space to do that kind of stuff. Like us, the United States, back in the 40s, had to go and find some place to seize to do this testing. Russia has it in their country. So
and Russia
have that kind of space.
Nukes.
Yes, they are. They're going to do whatever they want. But no, as far as I know, the Marshall Islands are the only place the U.S. used for that kind of testing. Now, I have visited the Philippines.
How was it?
Dude, it was awesome. I went in the summer of 2000. I had to ask my mom that recently. But I went in the summer of 2000. I was 12.
Wow.
Yeah, Y2K did not happen, so we were all really reprieved. I actually turned 12 in the Philippines.
Oh, cool. So you went in June.
Yep. Went in the summer and had a great time, man. Had a great time. Of course, most of the people there have never seen white people before. So they were all calling me gringo. So gringo is like a universal term, come to find out.
I thought that was Spanish.
It is, I thought too, but it's like a universal term. So they just saw blonde hair, blue eyes, right? And chased me around everywhere, calling me gringo. I was just talking about that with somebody earlier today, as a matter of fact. Like, so there's a lot of forms of public transportation out there, right? So one of them are these old, nasty, like, buses with, you can travel inside the bus or on top of the bus. Of course, I'm 12. What am I going to do? I'm going to travel on top of the bus.
Oh, yeah.
So we're out in what's called the barrio, which is like the jungle, dude. It's the country. I say the jungle. It's really just rice paddies out in the Philippines. Beautiful, but that's really all there is. So we're out there, and these kids are barefoot chasing us and I'm riding on top of this bus, and they're chasing us barefoot, like as fast as they can, just screaming, "Gringos, gringos, Americanos!" Like, I couldn't believe it, dude. They were so excited to see Americans out there. They'd never seen anybody like me. Never seen anybody like me. And not to mention, it's my whole family.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty wild experience, man. It was a pretty wild experience. So the reason we went is we were really close with our neighbors. And my neighbor met his wife in the Philippines when he was stationed there in the Air Force. He was an AWACS pilot. Really neat story he's got. But he met his wife there. it was her parents' 50th anniversary. So they were going to,
Oh, wow.
50th wedding anniversary. So
Yeah.
big deal. They were going to go home for it. And so they go back to the Philippines and we went with them. And so we went way out. Her family is rice farmers. So we went way out into the rice paddies, stayed with them for like a while out there. My dad at one of the nights, man, they threw big parties for us, right?
Yeah.
It was a huge deal that Americans were there.
So you like if I went as a tourist
Yes.
to the Philippines, I wouldn't get this experience.
Oh gosh, no.
You got
Gosh,
the
no.
local experience.
No,
you got
so
a
like-
traveler's experience.
Yeah. So my neighbor and his wife, her cousin, her whole family still lives there except for like her sister. So her brothers and all that. So her brothers and cousins and stuff were riding with us with machine guns on their back. They were our armed guards
nice.
the whole time because it is mischievous out there, I guess.
Mhm.
Whatever. And we're Americans. No one's ever seen Americans. All they know is that we're rich, right? I guess is their preconceived notion of everybody from America, which is accurate compared to most of these people, unfortunately.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, we're riding out there, man, and one of these nights we're out there in the country in what they call the barrio, right? And they're having this big party for us. Oh, and by the way, no legal drinking age at the time in the Philippines. So while I turned 12 out there, when we got picked up from the airport, I remember, I think it was the airport anyway. All of us kids rode in one car, and all the grown-ups rode in another car. We had to get escorted in two separate cars. One car, they didn't have a car big enough for all of us, so all the kids were in one car. I cracked open a beer, dude. A San Miguel, I believe, was their local beer there. But yeah, I had a few beers. I think that's my first like remembrance of really having an alcoholic beverage.
That's where the party started.
Yeah, but anyway, we were having this big party. I got to get to this story, man, because it's hilarious. I know I keep getting sidetracked. It was such a wild trip, man. The Philippines was. I never had an experience like it, but we're out there. They're throwing this humongous party. There's this guy. He brings a karaoke speaker and a microphone and a car battery, bro. And he hooks this karaoke. He hooks this little like Cracker Jack box amp.
Yeah.
He hooked it up to a little, probably 6-year-old car battery, and that's how he his little Cracker Jack box amp. And then he's got his microphone. He plugs it in, and he's drunk as a Cooter Brown. He's singing, right? He's singing on this microphone, and he's doing karaoke and singing all these songs. We can't understand a word. He doesn't speak any English. Anyway, he winds up offering my dad a water buffalo for my sister. It's a fact. Everybody was so wasted. Everybody's so drunk. It's a big party, right? Like at the time.
Yeah.
And this guy offers my dad. It's so funny looking back on it now. My dad's like, and he was so serious. He was so serious, dude. Yeah. He was like, my caribou for your daughter. And it was like a fair trade to him.
Wow. What'd your dad say? I mean, we kind of know the answer.
I mean, my sister's still here, so she came back with us
in the area. So
yeah, she came back with us, bro. I mean, my dad didn't want a caribou. What's he gonna do with a caribou?
How do I get this back to Peachtree City?
Big old water buffalo, dude. What's he gonna do with that thing? But yeah, it's a great story. We had a wonderful time. I had a cast on while we were there. So I'm scuba diving out there. My mom I'm in super shallow water because my mom's scared of the ocean. My mother is terrified of the water. I love her to death. She's terrified of the water. So we're in shallow water so that she can see the bottom and that I can see the bottom. I'm trying to like snorkel a little bit out there. Yeah. And she's holding my cast arm up out of the water. And I'm trying to like snorkel around, see fish and stuff, and it's just hilarious. I have all these memories. My sister kicked me out of the bed while we were there. I don't know, brothers and sisters fight, right? She kicks me out the bed, dude. I broke my elbow, same arm that my cast is already on. I'm not joking. Dude. It was a wild trip, man. Wild experience. I loved every minute of it. I love thinking back on it, but. That's what we went to. And they have fond memories of Americans, by the way. Most of the Filipinos I came in contact with at the time, from what I remember, they thought very fondly of Americans. Unlike probably the Marshall Islands, and from what I'm learning from my niece, natives in Hawaii don't think kindly of Americans for the most part.
Well, it's because they considered themselves a sovereign kingdom,
Yes.
and then we showed up.
Yes. So Filipinos, though, completely different. Of course, they're independent now. They're their own country and all. So
Hawaii's not.
Hawaii,
and there's a conspiracy theory out there that, and I kind of lean towards this one. I told you I'm kind of a reformed conspiracy theorist. Like, I kind of avoid them as I can. Yes. But this one makes sense.
Okay,
because I've asked the question: why do we trade with China, which is communism, but we can't go to Cuba, which is communism? China communism, good. Okay, we're okay with that, but we're not okay with what goes on in Cuba.
What's the conspiracy?
The conspiracy is at the same time that we stopped dealing with Cuba, because, it is a big tourist destination for Americans.
Sure, it's beautiful.
We cut that off. It's the same time Hawaii become a state.
Because we wanted
the tourist dollars to stay in the country and force people to go to Hawaii.
Makes sense. Cuba. I can see that. That's not far-fetched.
Yeah.
It's not far-fetched.
So, yeah, that one's kind of plausible,
Plausible. But then you got Puerto Rico kind of like the outlier.
Puerto Rico's an interesting situation, isn't it?
Yeah, because we don't need a passport to go there.
No. It's a territory.
I know a lot of people are against making Puerto Rico a state. And
I'd like to ask a Puerto Rican what they think.
Yeah, I would too. I don't know. I think it depends on which one you ask. It's like anything else.
Sure, it comes down to on both sides.
Their political stance. But
have they voted on it like as a territory?
I think they vote on it all the time.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not educated. This is all new to me.
But I think if you look at the conservatives, because we can't make it a state because it'll throw off the balance, and then blah 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 blah. These dudes, they're paying taxes to America. Mm-hmm. We're telling them what they can and can't do. They're freaking more of a collar.
If we're over them like that, like I don't know. I'm sure there's pros and cons to statehood, right? I don't know what
there's pros and cons of statehood, but we either need to let them go, or bring them in. That middle ground that they're in ain't cool.
Do you know what year Hawaii became a state?
1959.
That's right. That's a lot later than I thought.
Yeah.
It's a lot later than I thought. Them and Alaska both, 1959. It's a lot later than I was expecting to find out.
Dad was over there in 61 or 62 with Pawpaw being in the Army.
Oh, wow. Was it? I wonder what your dad's experiences were like.
He broke his toe.
Well, I mean, what his experiences were like interacting with the natives at the time. Because
I don't think I say they didn't interact with the neighbors, but Don Ho was their natives, but Don Ho was their neighbor. Tiny bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's insane.
So
I really want to know. I wish we could talk to your pawpaw, man. I really want to know if he was involved with the cleanup around Bikini Atoll and stuff like that.
Well, he's not with us anymore, so
yeah,
that's information we won't ever find out. Dad finally texted me back. He said it was the early 50s. He thought so
that he was over there. So right in the time,
he would
right in the time frame, bro.
He would have experienced. Me and him talked about it fishing one time, and he was telling me about the card that they kept around their neck that showed how much radiation they had been exposed to. Right. So if I'm remembering this correctly, they would blow something up.
Mm-hmm.
They would observe them blowing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then what washed up on shore, or what they blew up, or if they had to go to one of the little islands that they blew up on, and they would go collect stuff to see how much radiation it had on it. And then once their card was full of radiation exposure, then they were done with their tour.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I wonder if we would consider those like levels the same now, you think?
I don't know. That's interesting.
That's crazy to think about, man.
Yeah.
There was ways around it, right? Like you had guys like shoving them.
Yeah, they had guys
to try to get out of
they
there.
Would hang it over in the bucket that they were putting stuff in to kind of get more exposure. And he's got to kind of too, being that he was a career Army guy. I guess he was kind of an experiment till he retired. They kind of had to. They probably, I guess, whenever he'd go to the doctor or whatever, that was always on his record.
Yeah, dude, that Bikini Atoll stuff, along with some of the other stuff you told me about your pawpaw, man, I wonder about him. I'm just saying.
He had a fun,
he may have had a really special assignment, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, he had a fun, I think he had a fun Army career.
Yeah.
Like he didn't do anything boring.
Right. So I find some of the stuff you tell me about
his stories from Japan were, the stories I've heard are kind of interesting.
Yeah. When were they over there?
They were in there in the early 70s. So,
wow.
Yeah. Dad saw Pink Floyd over there.
That would be really wild.
But he saw Pink Floyd before they were big.
Really?
Yeah. Like that's
they kind of got big internationally, right?
Yeah, it was before Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall when Dad saw Pink Floyd. Mm-hmm. So, and they
let that poor puppy outside.
She's outside. She wants to back in now.
Go let her inside, man. I'll entertain everybody.
Okay,
for 1
entertain
second.
everybody. All right.
Yeah, come on. Let that poor pup inside. Jeez, he's got to make a big old rumble when he gets up, doesn't he? My gosh. I got to give him a hard time. I can't be easy on Chuck. Ever.
Quit doing that.
Ever.
You either are or you ain't. Okay? Now.
Okay. Listen, that dog just loves. She just loves you, man.
I know this dog is.
She just loves you.
She's a good dog.
Have you ever heard the joke? Lock your wife in the trunk and then lock your dog in the trunk overnight, and then go and open it the next morning and see which one's
happy to see you.
Yeah. That's always a good one.
Yeah, the dog definitely.
Yeah, definitely the dog. Yeah. Anyway, where are we at with this podcast, Chuck? You want to wrap this thing up, dude?
Man, I didn't tell you about going and getting that boat.
No, you didn't. Tell me.
We went and got a boat.
That's nice.
Dude,
How was it?
It was a great trip.
Yeah.
We didn't have any problems because you go to get any trailer that's been setting, anything on a trailer that's been setting for a little while, you expect to have a few problems could arise with bearings and tires and stuff. But we took another set of tires up there with us, and I think the rough and put them on before we left. So we come on back with it. We saw a couple wrecks that were kind of scary, but we wasn't in them. It was just, man, the aftermath was it was bad. Got to keep them people in your thoughts and prayers. But
yeah, I hate seeing bad accidents on road trips like that, man.
It
scares me.
Have you ever been to the Walhalla part of South Carolina?
Sure enough, have not.
Well, it's beautiful up there.
Tell me about it.
So when you're going up 85, and that you got that first exit right as you cross the lake, and you got the rest area, and then and all that, and it's all that same little exit. You get on Highway 11, and you just go kind of like northwesterly, easterly. I don't know which direction it is. And you go up, and you're like in the little foothills of the mountains. Man, it's pretty up there. It's a little town of Walhalla. It's one of them. Walhalla.
Is that what it is?
It is.
Okay.
And you get up there, and man, it's just a little old town, and it's still kind of neat looking.
That's cool.
But I was on an hour of sleep.
Right.
So, and every time I doze off, it didn't matter. I'm supposed to be navigating. So every time I doze off riding up there, Jeffrey would be like, "Where are we going?" I'm like, "Dude, we're on the same freaking highway we were on 10 minutes ago."
Well, what was Dad doing?
Dad was in the back listening to, I don't know what, he had his headphones in. I think he was taking a nap.
Doing his own thing.
And I think Glenn was asleep. So I'm up there, trying to navigate with the least amount of sleep of anybody.
Jeez. So,
yeah, it was.
Yeah, you seem like the wrong person for that job. No offense.
Well, so I come home and I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to sleep. You know how that is.
Yeah, you told me. We were texting that day, and you were like, dude, I don't know. I've only had 3 hours of sleep. And I'm like, bro, why are you still texting me then? It's like midnight.
Yeah. By that time, I had collected 3 hours of sleep.
Oh my gosh.
So I had an hour when I got home. I probably had a total of 15 minutes in the truck because every time I doze off, we'd hit a bridge and it put him.
Yeah, wake you up real good.
Oh, okay, I'm awake.
Yeah.
And then I got home and lay down on the couch for about maybe 2 hours. I don't know. And I woke up, man. You know how heads like cracking and necks all right.
Oh yeah, dude, car sleeping and
yeah, it was awesome though. So we got
the trip was cool though.
We got access to a fishing boat now, so
nice.
We might have to have a field trip.
Let's do it.
But anyway, that's our show, folks. Oh, don't forget, you can still comment Bigfoot Pizza.
You sure can. Yeah, we didn't want to forget about that.
You can comment it on any post we make on Facebook, and we will count that as a Bigfoot Pizza.
That's right. We need someone other than Kevin.
And Kevin.
Someone with a name other than Kevin. How about that?
Yes. Right now we have the Kevins. The Kevins.
We got both Kevs. Yeah. Thank you, Kevs. Appreciate that. Thanks for entering.
Yes. I think we have a. Yeah.
No, but for real, Bigfoot Pizza, enter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to come? What is it? They're going to be on the.
They're going to be on the podcast.
Orlando Pizza with us, right?
The greatest pizza I've ever had.
It holds that title.
And somebody, because you order two, so somebody's going to we're going to eat one, and somebody's going to take one home with them.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Enter to win.
Yeah.
We want to eat pizza with you.
Yeah.
For Christmas, right? That's what we said.
And if a winner not in the Georgia area ends up being the winner, I guess we'll just drop ship them one of the pizzas.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, dude.
And then just have them on, like,
let's do it. Bigfoot Pizza. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Let's do that meme of the week, man.
Let's do the meme of the week.
All right.
I'm going to send it to you. Yeah, dude. Yeah. All right. So don't forget to,
Don't forget to
go and like and follow us on all the socials.
Oh, yeah. Please. Thank you.
And the YouTube.
Dang, I'm getting ahead of myself, man. What am I anxious to get off this podcast?
I don't know. Jeez. You act like you are.
No, I'm anxious. What I'm anxious about, Chuck, I'll be honest with you. You said this is one of the best. This might be
the best meme ever.
Oh, it is. You've made that decision now. It is the best meme you've ever seen.
Yes. It's our best meme of the week, definitely.
I've been really excited to get to this portion of the show. That's all it is.
All right. Well, you better check your phone because it's coming at you right now.
All right. Pulling it up. All right. Boom. All right. Real time. Why the blank is there a car in here? Oh my God.
Okay, ciao.
Stop.
Dude,
Stop, dude.
They missed it. They missed it. They had the perfect opportunity.
Totally missed their opportunity, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one, man. I totally agree with it.
Hey, ain't there a feature that we can use with this Anchor to where people can do like a call in?
Yes.
Put that link in the description.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get a call in. You never know.
Yeah, maybe someone will want to phone in a meme.
Phone in a meme? Yeah, they could phone in a meme. They could submit a meme. They could call on there and tell us that we're idiots.
Yeah.
Or awesome. Either one.
I'll do it. I'll connect it.
All right, y'all. Well, it's been a great show.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it.
We'll holler at y'all later.
Bye. Later, guys.